on Indigenous Peoples Day, there's a game that's played where you trick your opponent into picking which hand the rock is in. I love this doc because it is a look into a culture other than my own. You see the sense of community, you see the camaraderie, you see um, the how the generations are all assisting the younger generations. You see the role of women. You see all of this in this. They touch on the idea that some tribes traditionally have not let women play this game. And you had one nation, Yukon, who felt differently, and they had a woman on their team because for them, women involvement was extremely important because their involvement was so present in all other aspects of the culture. To not have them involved in this um, cultural game and in this bonding time seemed unfair. So what I realized the most about these hand games is as simple as this pastime is, there's just such a great cultural impact that it has on everyone within this culture, and you see how it affects everyone within this culture.
The cinematography was not only gorgeous and done really well, but the hand games just seemed so fun. It's something that I had never heard of before, that I just really enjoyed learning about this and learning about the new generations that were coming in and discovering hand games, and how it was kind of bringing not only people together, but whole communities together to play the hand games. I loved the music that was involved in this. I mean, and that goes from not just the music that the filmmakers chose, but the music that was in the hand games, just that drumming and that spirit, that passion that lives inside of that. I thought it was absolutely really cool.
This was a terrific presentation from Inuvik on the Hand Games tournament of the Indigenous people. This was new to me. I've heard of some Indigenous sports before, but not like this. The way they describe it is more like an elevated version of rock, paper, scissors with the added features of drumming and a sense of rhythm. Really good to watch in the demonstrations. The message from this particular filmmaker, though, was that in some communities, women aren't allowed to play. But in this Inuvik community, they are. And so they had several of the male players speak to that and how it builds more inclusivity for everybody, young, old, of different gender, and just makes a stronger community.
We get a chance to have a look at this particular tradition that obviously not many people outside of USA, of North America, or even outside the indigenous community know, and how they get to bring these tradition, these games, these hand games around the whole country. Also during Indigenous Days, which is celebrated everywhere. I really like the idea of the hand game, indeed, this shaking, this movement, and then all accompanied by percussions and drums and beautiful music all over. I think it was very, very deep, and also I really felt a feeling of connection with the story, thanks to the music. Thanks to the game, but also mainly thanks to the music, which it really is beautiful music, beautiful way for this population to express their root, their tradition.
Just learning how much community is behind the hand games, because I feel like it's something that isn't foreign to most of us. You know, the having something in your hand, moving it around and having someone guess which one it is. So right there, you understand the novelty, or like how much you can have fun with that. But then seeing just how much that game means is definitely very interesting, also very heartfelt, because you can feel the passion when they talk about it. Additionally, one of the things that I really did like, and it's something I didn't really think about until this documentary started, is the impact of Indigenous People Day. I find it very interesting that it definitely feels like one of those things where history is going to change a lot of things in the sense that um, when I was a kid, for the longest time, Indigenous Peoples Day was Columbus Day, but now because they they've removed that element, it allows for a much stronger sense of identity and community, and it also erases what was basically glorifying a lot of pretty messed up things.
So learning about hand games, it was really cool. It just looked like so much fun. I love the celebration of it, and with the drums and the dancing, it just seems so rock and roll. Yeah, it really looked like a lot of fun, and it was really interesting to learn about this and how uniting and how joyful it is for these folks in their celebration. It was really interesting to learn about and to see, discussion of diversity within the culture. Talking about the inclusion of young people, inclusion of women and non-binary folks. So that was interesting as well. And yeah, I'm really happy, just like with everything, like these folks were able to come back after the pandemic and be able to rekindle the joy and do it again.
It's a very educational piece, and the fact that it's now becoming more inclusive to include women makes it even more wonderful. I love learning the history that some women were always allowed depending on the region they were in, whereas others are just now joining, and that they're trying to teach the women things that used to not be allowed for them. I loved this. I love the sense of community in this. It's one of those things that you could feel the bond through something that's messing around with head games and stuff within these hand games. I kind of love that because it shows that these people are still willing to have thick skins, which is something that the world needs to teach, because there's a lot of people who couldn't do with the mental games to play a game, that they'd get really hurt by it. But the fact that this is being spread to do that makes it so much better. It makes it where it's actually worth it, and was a very educational documentary that was fun to watch.